Who is ready for me to unload a bit on a situation that I personally have found a bit frustrating? Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. This channel is all about making sewing and crafts fun and approachable. If you are kind of new to this channel, I've been on YouTube for 6 years. I am closing in on 100,000 subscribers, over 400 videos, and I have been in this space for a little bit of time. And before that, I used to be a news producer. So I have been dealing with the marketing and PR firm of folks for about 2 decades. And I want to talk a little bit about my personal experience tonight, everything that I have observed and been a part of over the past few years in the sewing and crafting influencer space. And just, yeah, buckle up, guys. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And yeah, I don't know exactly where this is going to go, but I just really felt like I needed to get this off my chest and rant a bit. This is, yeah, going to be a pretty rambly video. So I apologize in advance if that's not your thing. I totally get it. But if this is something you're here for, I am really, yeah. So I'm not even sure where to begin, and I'm kind of nervous to talk about all of this, but I also think that it needs to be said, so I'm going to be sharing. And I also want to be clear, I do not speak for all influencers or sewing bloggers or sewing YouTubers. I only speak for myself, but I do feel like a lot of the things happening in this whole business space are kind of part of a larger issue. So thank you for joining me. No idea how long this is going to go. Yeah, and I wasn't planning. I was like, I had something totally different planned. But this kind of what happened kind of rubbed me the wrong way so much that I was just like, oh, I've been like just really kind of thinking about it all day. So I woke up to get an email from this company that I've been in contact with for a couple months now. And that company is Locklick Crafter. Now, I have been reporting on the Locklick Crafter since about September because I'd seen an Instagram ad for the product. And I thought it was pretty interesting because it looked like it was a dupe for the Cricut Maker, but at a much lower price point. So I originally did a live stream sometime in September and talked about they kind of had a basic website at that point. We didn't really know what it was going to be like, and I had never heard of this company. So Locklick Crafter is actually owned by another company called HTV Rund, which is an online site that sells scrapbooking supplies like vinyl and other things for Cricut type products and electronic cutting machines. And I was not familiar with this company at all. So even in that live stream, I asked you, I said, hey, I don't have any personal experience with HTV Rund. Is this company for real? Are they legitimate? What's been your customer experience like with them? I'm really interested in trying to review this product when it comes out. And I just want to know your feedback as to, what's going on, because this is something that happens a lot, just from my perspective. When you start to get a YouTube channel with a somewhat sizable following on it, you start getting emails from random companies and people you've literally never heard of. These are not household names. These are people with like an Amazon storefront or some weird company that like literally came out of nowhere. So from my end, I really am trying to be careful about working or featuring these companies' products because I've never heard of them before. They don't really have an established reputation. This is not household names. This is not Joann Fabrics. This is not even Cricut. This is not Clover. All of those companies have been around for a long time. These are literally companies that I've just never heard of. So Locklick was one of them, and I just didn't know anything about it. So after I did that live stream initially in September, I got an email from someone with Locklick. So what happened was Locklick had hired a PR firm, which is very, I will say this is very common for businesses to do. This is not unusual. Many companies will outsource PR or marketing to an external firm for certain things like events or product launches like the Locklick Crafter. So I got an email. I did not reach out. I think I had emailed Locklick, but I wasn't asking them for anything. I wasn't asking them to send products or anything. I had emailed them just to get more information about the product. I said, hey, I'm going to be covering this product launch, and I'm just hoping to get some information, like what's the price going to be, like the release date, any sort of information, just so I could share it with you. So I got an email in September, so that's about 2 months ago, from someone that was a PR rep that was representing Locklick. They did not work for Locklick directly. This is a PR firm that is handling the Locklick launch. So they said, hey, we would you be interested in getting a unit to review? So if you've been following this channel for any amount of time, I've been pretty adamant that I want to try to keep the business relationships, one, very transparent, and two, if I'm doing product reviews on this channel, I feel like I would rather pay for the item myself and not have like integrated. So I don't do product integration videos here. I do not do anything where a company sends me a product and then I don't do like the tit for tat thing. So I don't exchange videos for them sending me stuff. So when a company reaches out to send me items or anything like that, I will say, look, you're welcome to send things, but you cannot have any sort of control over the content, and I don't have any obligation with you. I don't sign contracts, and that's been something I've been doing for the last several years because I was kind of fed up with trying to do collaborations with these companies. And I think that's something that's, you kind of, when you're getting into the blogging YouTube space, you're kind of told from the get-go, like sponsorships and brand deals are part of being a YouTuber. Like that's just what you do. You got to negotiate brand deals. This is a way to make money. So, when I was first starting out, I was like, okay, I'll attempt to do this. But my own experiences with all of these situations have just completely put me off to doing brand deals and sponsorships. So, this is going to be kind of a long-winded live stream, but I'm going to explain why that is, how I got here, and how this ties into Locklick, bringing us to the present day. So I had gotten an email from Locklick Crafter, and they wanted to send me a unit for review. So I was like, hey, that sounds cool. And the benefit for me and for you, the audience, is that they were going to send me the unit early. So I would be able to access it and do videos on it before it was released to the general public. And that's like the one benefit I saw in accepting a machine from them. Again, as we know now, these machines are $99. That's something I can pay for to review for this channel. But the one benefit that they were offering was that they would let me have access to the unit early, and so then I would be able to review it. So that has value. Getting early access to products is a definite benefit. So I emailed back and forth with this person, and I said, just so you know, though, and this is something I do with all companies, everyone who reaches out. I send them to my Work With Me page on the SoyneReport.com website, and I say, but I can only accept products under these terms. So I kind of have like a TLDR. I say, if you send stuff, I can't give you updates. There's no obligation. There's no business contract involved. I can say whatever I want, and you cannot have literally no control over the editorial, the creative. You don't get approval, anything like that. So if you're okay with all of those terms, feel free to go ahead and send it. But if you're not, I completely understand, and then this is certainly not a good business fit. So the people with Locklick, they said that's totally fine. I just was getting this gut feeling, though, even from the get-go with these people. I just sort of felt like something was going to go sideways. So I'm like, I don't know. Like the initial correspondence was okay, but they didn't give me any information about like the product. They didn't give me dates. There was nothing very specific or organized. I was sort of getting the sense that there was a real lack of organization and kind of not a lot of like specific communication. So when the Kickstarter launched, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and buy the item as well. So in case things go sideways with these PR people, I will still get a machine to review. Plus, I kind of felt better about the situation too, because I would rather be a paying customer to do a review than to get an item for free and do a review. In fact, I literally don't even do those. So I went ahead and I paid the $99 for the Locklick Kickstarter. And if you've been following the Sewing Report for any amount of time, or following what's happening with the Locklick Crafter, the Kickstarter had some issues. So I had signed up for the Kickstarter, and it was, a lot of people signed up for the Kickstarter, and it was suspended, and nobody really knew what was going on. So you can see here, on October 25th, I did another live stream, and I was talking about, like what happened with this thing, because it clearly did not go well. The Kickstarter was suspended, and nobody really understood what exactly happened. And I want to also share. So before the Kickstarter launched, and there's a couple other things. This PR lady, again, after she had in writing agreed to me that they would abide by the terms I laid out, they tried to give me a deadline for content creation. So I get an email from them like a couple weeks later, and it said something like, these units are going out October 21st to the 23rd. Can you get a video up by October 31st? And I was like, wait. You already agreed to not dictating anything on my part. So them coming back and trying to give me some sort of deadline for content creation, what's next? They got to get approval? Yeah, F off. So I thought that was a little, a little dicey, but to be honest with you, that has happened with the vast majority of brands that I have done any sort of collaboration with. And that number I can probably count on one hand. So I do not really do these at all, but the handful of times I've attempted to do anything like that, it's just, I don't know, just things have sort of gone in directions that I'm, I personally was not comfortable with. So this lady tried to give me a deadline for the content creation, and gently I sent her an email back and I said, hey, that goes against the terms you agreed to, where you are not dictating the content creation. And by giving me a deadline for when I have to do content creation, that's essentially breaking those terms, because then you're controlling what I'm doing, and that's not what I agreed to at all. So I did push back, and I said, this is not cool. And she's like, okay, yeah, totally get it. And I never got a unit. Even to this day, I still have not gotten a Locklick Crafter to review. The other thing that happened that was a little strange is that I was told by the PR rep that there would be an influencer conference call. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a neat idea. So it kind of sounded to me like it was going to be some sort of Zoom call where we would learn more about the product, maybe get like the inside scoop on the Locklick Crafter. And I was like, that's actually a pretty, interesting idea. So initially they gave me one date for this conference call, and I followed up like a couple days before. I was like, hey, I haven't gotten any more information about this. Is this, still happening? And they're like, oh no, it's been moved to this date. And so here's the deal. When they told me there was going to be an influencer conference call, that was not at all what it was. what she was telling me about ended up being that weird metaverse kickoff announcement that was publicly available. So that's certainly not an influencer conference call, like not even remotely close. And she was basically just telling me about their worldwide public announcement that anyone could access. So that's not any sort of benefit to me. That's not anything special because everyone got to watch the metaverse announcement at the same time. So that was a little bit odd. And I know, just judging from the last live stream I did about this, I'm not the only one that thought the metaverse announcement was a little unusual. They had all these avatars announcing these products and you never got to see real faces. So I feel like that kind of contributed to a lot of people kind of wondering, like, what's the deal with this product? Like, what is going on? So then, as we know, the Kickstarter, they did get a lot of people pledging to the Kickstarter, but then it was suspended and nobody knew why. So before I even did this Locklick Crafter Kickstarter suspended live stream, I had actually, because I got the email saying that the Kickstarter was suspended and I was really confused. And I reached out to this PR person representing Locklick and I said, hey, I just got an email that the Kickstarter's been suspended. Do you know what's going on? And I also asked some additional questions about the product launch because a lot of you were wondering whether there were going to be additional accessories, like would you be able, like they wanted to know more about the features of the product. Would you be able to print and cut with this product? Also, will there be some sort of rotary blade and other attachments, or will there just be the attachments that were announced with the metaverse announcement? So the timeline of this was I had emailed with this contact a little bit before my Locklick Crafter Kickstarter suspended live stream, and I got an email back. They're like, yeah, we're trying to figure this out. I'll get back to you. Until today, that was my last correspondence with anyone associated with the Locklick Crafter product launch. So it's been over a month since I've heard from anyone from the Locklick company or associated with the Locklick company. So, I went ahead, and I really, when I do these, I understand that when you're reporting on things happening in real time, the details will change. There'll be new developments. So I did actually, let's go back to this. I did actually add a note on 11/20 or 10/26, and I added the note that Locklick had put on the Kickstarter about the campaign. But up until today, I had no idea what happened with. I literally had no idea why the campaign was suspended or what was going on. So really, no, and I have also been kind of trying to pay attention to their social media to see if they've been updating anyone. And the only thing I've seen Locklick post is very vague, like kind of blanket like statements like, we're trying to work out our Kickstarter issues and hope to be back soon. Like that's really the only communication they've been putting out publicly about the Kickstarter. So I don't blame anybody out there who's just a little bit skeptical about this product launch after what happened with the Kickstarter and the fact that the company has been somewhat vague about, why the campaign was suspended. So I wake up today and I get this email. I'm going to show you the email. Okay. Oh, and also, by the way, if you go to the Kickstarter right now, it still says, like today, this project was suspended. Your pledge will no longer be collected. So you can see right here, it says funding suspended, campaign suspended. So the campaign is suspended. So there's really nothing to debate about that. It is. We just did not know why the campaign was suspended. So I get this email. I'm not going to show you the actual email because it has this person's like information in it, but I copy and pasted the text of this email that I received. Okay. Oh, and by the way, Karen, No, I have not received a Locklick Crafter. I believe they're shipping out sometime early next year. But this company had written to me and said they were going to send me a unit to review as like an influencer, and they never did. And I want to be clear, that's totally fine. Like, I don't really care about that. But I will say that I did notice that a few other influencers did get units to review. So it looks like units have been sent out to other people. They just, apparently I'm out though. So that's kind of, this whole thing has been very strange. So, all right, I'm going to read the email that I got from Locklick Crafter. And just to be clear, I had reached out to get this information over a month ago, and I've only now received a response after literally over 1 month. Okay, it says, "Hi Jennifer, hope this mail finds you well. I'm Kimberly, PR at Locklick and HTV Runt team." Oh, and by the way, this email came from so it came from the original PR person's email, but the person who's writing me today is actually a different person. So this is not my original contact with the PR team. All right, I am glad that you were able to attend our launch event, and I am thankful for your interest in our Locklick Crafter. Recently, I noticed your YouTube video titled Locklick Crafter Kickstarter Suspended. The views for this video are quite impressive. However, we still need to bring more clarity to this issue. Okay, for starters, that live stream got about 2,300 views. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad, but that's hardly a viral sensation for a YouTube live stream. Also, did you notice she's kind of writing this email in a tone like she's my boss? Like, this is the type of email a manager sends to their underlings. This is not, I feel like this email is somewhat like unprofessional. Like, however, we still need to bring more clarity to this issue. I was ready to do that last month. Where were you guys when you ghosted me after I asked you for more information? Okay, first this is why the price of the machine is different at different times of the campaign. Also, this email was like formatted really strangely, so I tried to clean it up a little bit, but it came through very strange. We intend to offer a first machine discount for our early adopters. On the slides of our launch event, it stated that if you buy one machine in our crowdfunding program, you need to pay $99. If you want more than 2 machines, you need to pay $119 for a second machine. However, since this is just an exclusive limited offer that won't last forever, it will expire over time as the campaign goes on. So the super early bird and early bird price will become higher than the launch day special. Okay, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but yeah. Okay, so here's where we get to the meat. This is why the campaign was actually suspended. The reason why the campaign was suspended by Kickstarter. As we understand from the Kickstarter trust and safety team, an unknown third party has made multiple fraudulent purchases under the same IP with different accounts, triggering Kickstarter's action to immediately cancel the project. We have no knowledge of the third party, and we have no way to reverse Kickstarter's decision to take precautionary measures and protect their platform. Okay, if that's really what happened, and I can't really verify that because Kickstarter has said all they want to say about the matter. So this is just for what I've gotten from Locklick. So, that's what they're saying. If we take this at face value, then this is obviously, not anything that they're in the clear then. Then this really had nothing to do with them. It sounds like there was some sort of like malicious, I don't know if they were like bots or some sort of other weird hacker type people. But if this really is the case, then, why? I just want to know, why didn't Locklick, why were they afraid to say that? There's really nothing wrong with that. And I don't really think that's nothing that they should feel like they need to hide. But again, up until this email today, I have never seen Locklick publicly release that information or share this, because there have been so many people asking what happened. And literally, they've, up until today, literally, when they wrote back to me, they have never, sorry, my computer is going a little haywire. They have never clarified what went wrong. All right, I'm going to need to fix my computer. Hold on a second. So I just don't, I really don't understand why they couldn't have shared this information earlier. If that's really what happened, then that's really not anything that they should be afraid to share. And I just don't get it. Like I really don't get it. So, if that's the case, then that's really not, why didn't they write back to anybody that was asking them? Because they've gotten a lot of people inquiring on, I've seen so many people ask what happened on social media, and all they would write was that like vague, like, we're trying to figure it out with Kickstarter and we hope to be back soon. But they never really said what happened. And I think this would have gone a long way with everybody if you just said, hey, we got an IP attack or there was some sort of weird activity, but it had nothing to do with us. I don't think that's a problem, but it just seems weird to me. Okay, let me get some water real quick. Okay, so next it says, the reason why Locklick relaunched, again, this grammar is a little dicey, but whatever. The reason why Locklick relaunched the campaign on Indiegogo rather than on Kickstarter. Considering that it took too much time to deal with the Kickstarter issue, our crowdfunding project also involves a series of subsequent processes like fundraising, production, shipping, and delivery in order to bring much joy to our fans as soon as possible. Yeah, because I was waiting on the edge of my seat for the Locklick craft or whatever. We decided to switch the crowdfunding platform to Indiegogo immediately. Again, that's not really, I don't think anyone would have a problem with that at all. But here's where they kind of ticked me off. Recently, some clients saw your video and questioned our campaign, and even though we explained the whole thing in great detail, people still clung to the preconceived notions they had in mind. I would like to kindly ask you to make a clarifying video explaining why our campaign was suspended on Kickstarter, and we will try to provide you with any answers or other supports. Guys, finally, regarding the video title, I would like to ask if it is possible to edit the title of the video without mentioning the suspended word. I'm just asking. It's all up to you. And I hope I'm not bothering you and making these requests. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Yours, Kimberly at Locklick and HTV Run Team. Okay. Kimberly. Okay, sorry. Something just happened with my mouse. Kimberly, respectfully, you can fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. Sorry, this is not going to be a family-friendly show. The audacity you had to email me over 1 month after I asked you for that information, and then you come back at me and you make all these demands of me for my platform. Fuck off. Fuck off. F off. I'm not your brand ambassador. I've been pretty fair to my coverage of the company. But again, I think we had some valid questions about what happened, and all it would have taken was some clarity over a month ago. So I'm not doing this. And Kimberly, this is my follow-up video. This is my video where I am sharing what happened. It's just probably not the type of video you're looking for. So if you think you can come on my YouTube channel that I have built for the past 6 years and dictate the titles of my videos, what I put in the videos, how I cover companies that are trying to take your money, then you can fuck off. Fuck off. I'm getting a little pissed. But yeah, sorry guys. I normally try to keep it family friendly, but it is after 8 p.m. Guys, that email, I've just been thinking about that email all day. I went to Tractor Supply and I was like, how am I going to do this? I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, no, you cannot I do not work for you. I do not work for these people. I have no real association with these people. And quite honestly, the only benefit to me that I saw in this situation was being able to review this product early. And if I'm not getting that, then you just wasted a whole bunch of my time. So if I'm not going to get anything out of this arrangement besides you making unreasonable demands of me, then at least I'm going to be doing a live stream and airing out all of your bullshit, because this is bullshit. Ugh. So, yeah, this is super. Wait, Kimberly has a video on YouTube? Okay, somebody send me, all right, should we watch the video? And I don't even know who I honestly don't know who the fuck Kimberly is. I don't know who this is. I've never heard of this person, but for her to send me an email after all of this time, and to not even say, hey, if they just said, hey, we're not going to be sending you a unit after all, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I get that you just want influencers who will blow smoke up your ass and your company, then that's totally fine. But at least you could have had the decency to tell me, or to, have some communication. But hey, I guess that's the way you guys roll over at Locklick Crafter. All right, sorry, I got to connect. My iPad keeps coming unconnected from this. Okay, here we go. So that's been my day so far, and that's why I decided to air this out. But here's the thing I want to tell you is that this type of situation, this type of bullshit, has been my experience with pretty much every other company. So I don't want you to think that this is a one-off situation, because this has pretty much been pretty much like the same go around with every single company that has reached out to me and wants to quote unquote work with me or do a collab. So I'm kind of done with this stuff. So at this point in time, I am not going to be, this is exactly why I don't typically do stuff like this or take sponsorships or try to do brand deals, because it's always stuff like this. And this is not the only example. I'm going to be sharing later on in the stream. I'm going to be sharing some other examples that are equally stupid, so that you can, decide on your own. But when you're buying products, we rely a lot on reviews to help us make our decisions. And the fact that there's so much of this type of thing in the influencer marketing space, I feel like that makes it really hard for anybody to trust reviews online if the person got it for free or they're working with the brand. And some people might not agree with this. Again, if you are an influencer and you do sponsorships, again, no shade on you. You got to do what you got to do. I think sponsorships and brand deals can work better for other types of channels. But when I'm doing a lot of reporting on the industry news and doing legitimate product reviews, I just don't really find those types of business relationships to be beneficial for me. And I find them to be more of, definitely a lot more of a hassle than a help. So, if you could be like, I'm leaving money on the table, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm too old for this crap. And at this point, I'm kind of beyond really caring about it. So that's why I'm like, whatever. Okay, I want to know, who is this? I honestly don't know who this Kimberly is. I've not had any I just got that one random email. I don't know, and I have no idea what's going on with this client and why they saw my video. But yeah. Karen, I would agree with you. I think a lot of reviews I see online, like on blogs, on YouTube channels, I don't believe them. I just don't believe them. And I'm not saying there are certainly people out there that are really trying their best to do legitimate reviews and honest reviews. But in this day and age, it's just really hard to know what information, what influencer you can trust. And I just think this is ridiculous. Okay, so let me read. Next I'm going to read my response to Kimberly, who I still honestly really don't know. I don't know who this video is. And again, in my original live stream, I did not say anything that was not factual. I did not really speculate. I said, we don't really know what's going on. And whenever I saw if I had an update, I certainly would have added it to the description. So this most recent update, I did add to the description box of the video. I updated the blog post, and I also put it in the first pinned comment so that people who are watching that live stream with a whopping 2,300 views will be able to see the latest. But I also decided, I did also add the part where this company asked me to change the title of the video. So, oh, and by the way, I also got permission in writing from my original PR contact with Locklick, that I said, hey, I'm going to be using some of the metaverse announcement footage to react to in my coverage, and they said that was totally fine. So I even got permission beforehand to use the metaverse announcement. Okay, so let's talk about my email response back. All right, here's what I wrote back. Kim, thank you for reaching out. I appreciate you providing more insight into what happened with the Locklick Crafter Kickstarter campaign. When it initially happened, I emailed Maria and asked if she could answer a few questions I had so I could include them in my reporting. She initially said she would get back to me. This was several weeks ago, but your message is the only information I have received since then. Because I've been covering the product launch, I will continue to provide updates to my audience. No, I will not change the title of the previous video. I don't work for Locklick, and Maria, in writing, agreed that the company cannot dictate or control any of my editorial decisions. This is a long-standing policy here at the Soin Report, and the reason why I am very skeptical about taking sponsors or signing contracts with brands. If someone with Locklick would like to record an on-camera interview with me to explain what happened in detail and more about the products, I would be happy to set this up and speak to them directly. Originally, Maria had contacted me to arrange sending me a Locklick Crafter machine early to review. I understand if you no longer plan to do this, but it does speak volumes about the company if they are only willing to send PR to influencers with zero criticism and who follow marching orders. I did participate in the Indiegogo campaign and purchased a unit myself, but the benefit to me working directly with Locklick was to be able to review the product earlier than the general public. If I can't do that, there is no benefit for me to be in contact with the Locklick HTV Runt team. Have a great day, Jennifer. So, what do you think about my response? I felt like it was appropriate, and I also think this lady, Kim, realized that, I'm not on their payroll. I don't have a contract with them. I've never signed any sort of non-disclosure agreement, so, they have no expectation for me staying silent. So yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm a little bit frustrated about this situation. I did not appreciate them asking me to remove the word suspended from my live stream, especially since that's exactly what happened. It was suspended. And again, the reasoning they gave to me in that email today, if that's true, then I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. But the issue I have with Locklick is that they never share it. Before today, as far as I know, nobody had that information. So Locklick, if that was such a concern to you, like your image and everything, why didn't you release that information much, much earlier instead of waiting over a month and doing it via a third party? You guys have social media. You could have put that information out yourself. Two, again, if my live stream is so critical, to you guys, why didn't you respond to my email and let me know? I would have gladly included that. Or if you told me that day, I could have talked about it in the live stream. But I went on the information I had, which was not much. In case you don't know, journalists cannot report on information they don't have. So I am reporting on this information today, which I feel like is a pretty timely manner because I just got this information today. But the audacity you have to make demands of me, someone who, literally, I have not accepted 1 penny from this company. I have not signed anything with them. The audacity you have to ask me to do something for you when you've literally done nothing for me is just ridiculous. So, yeah. I'm not going to, quite honestly, I've already paid, I've already paid. So I am a paying customer of Locklit Crafter. I'm like, I feel like the excitement I had about trying this product is kind of wiped away. I don't even know if I should still do this product review and like give them any further, you know, I don't even know if I want to give them any further like publicity. In fact, I've done that with Cricut. I have not really, you know, I've really tried to shy away from even mentioning Cricut here, unless I'm, you know, talking about company matters. Guys, I'm kind of mad. I'm kind of mad. I want to know though, so somebody in the chat said Kimberly had made a video. What is it? If someone has the link to the video, let me know. Like, I don't even know, can you get a refund on the Indiegogo? I don't even know if I want this product anymore. Like, I feel like any interest I had in doing this is kind of gone. You know, and like, I'm sorry, but for a PR, for a public relations professional, to be doing this is, it just shows like, and again, I just want to point out too, just for context, what happened with Kimberly is pretty much reminiscent of my experience with most people in PR. And I've been dealing with PR people for 2 decades now. And I would say 95% of them are just completely clueless about everything. There have been some exceptions. I have worked with a handful of PR people that have been wonderful. But my overall experience, sorry, my hair is getting a little weird. My overall experience with PR and marketing people has just been complete shit. Like, I just, like, aggravating up the wall. Like, they just don't get it. And it's just been very frustrating. So, okay. Let's read some more comments. That company did the harm to themselves. Exactly. Like, again, I felt like in all of my coverage to Locklit, I've been very fair, but I'm also not going to blow smoke up their ass because I'm not a brand ambassador for this company. I do not work for this company. I'm an independent content creator. So the fact that you expect an independent content creator to act like a paid shill for this company, like, that's just so out of touch with reality. It's just not crazy. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, they've already taken, that's the thing, they've already taken my money. So that's the thing, I don't even know. This product could be awesome. I don't know that because I don't have the product. And they actually went back on what they told me, which was that they were going to send me a machine to review. Plus, I actually bought one for myself. So I'm glad I did not rely on them to send me a unit because obviously that didn't happen. This whole thing was like a total wash. And the thing I'm most frustrated about is that they wasted so much of my freaking time for nothing, literally for nothing. So, all right, I think after all of this, you need to go back to IKEA and get the stuffed animal. All right, should I get an emotional stuffed animal? I mean, I already have a real life rabbit, so I could just snuggle with the bunny. Yeah, I need to go back to IKEA. That's more my happy place, you know. I'm just like, yeah. You know, Ellen, I have no idea at this point, but like, none of my interactions with this company have made any sense. So I'm just sharing this from my perspective. But again, just notice, they have sent Locklit Crafters to other influencers. So they, and I did send them my mailing address. So, and Locklit Crafter, if you are watching this now, I do not want you to send me anything. I'm kind of done with this all. So I don't think I'm going to be, I would prefer not to be involved in this. And this is probably going to be the last time. This is probably, I can't say never, but I'm hoping this is going to be like the last time I have to mention this company. But yeah, so what do you think about those emails? Were they not like totally ridiculous? Like, I mean, but again, that's PR for you. That's just how the industry is. For some reason, everyone that, well, can't say everyone, 99% of the people who work in marketing and PR are just like ridiculous people, in my opinion. Again, if you're out there and you're a PR person, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. That's just, that's just what I think. Good God, like, guys, I don't freaking know. I do want to talk more broadly too about this whole like sphere, because there is more to it, and I've been kind of thinking about this all day too. Just like this experience has not been like this experience has not been like the one-off. This is more like what happens to me every single time. So, okay, I want to talk about something. So there's two recent examples I want to bring up just around this whole influencer marketing world. There is a company, let me get some water real quick. There is a company that kind of came out of nowhere, and it's called Established Titles. And the whole premise is that if you pay money to this company, you can quote unquote buy a square foot of land in Scotland and technically be an official lord or lady. I'm not joking. It kind of sounds like a gag gift or something, but recently I have seen countless very large YouTubers getting sponsorships with this company called Established Titles. And I was like, what's the deal with this? And in fact, my own husband and I, we almost fell for this thing. My husband saw the Established Title sponsorship. They have paid so many YouTubers, large, very large channels have been promoting Established Titles. So my husband saw this on some like computer channel, and he's like, that would be really cool to get Lord on my, Lord James on my driver's license. Let's look it up. So we looked up the website and we were like, yeah, that would be kind of fun. And there was like a Black Friday deal, and it was like $42, or you can do couples for like $70. So we were about ready to shell out $70 for this Established Title to get the title of Lord and Lady, Jennifer and James. Then he was kind of thinking about it. He's like, that seems a little weird, like $40 for a square foot of land. Like that seems fishy about it. So we didn't end up buying this thing. And instead, we found this video by YouTuber Scott Schaefer. If you're not familiar with Scott Schaefer, until this week, it was kind of a small channel, but he's kind of blowing up because he has gotten 2.5 million views on this video called Established Titles Scam, YouTube's Biggest Con, Graham Stephan and Andre Geek. So Scott actually did a little bit of digging, and he found like the companies that owned Established Titles, and he found out this is like not real at all. This is not legitimate. In fact, the company that owns Established Titles is actually based in like China or something. So that's a little weird that the company is based in China, but yet they're allegedly selling you an honorary plot of land in Scotland. And it turns out like this Lord and Lady stuff is not at all legitimate. So this video in the past week or so has blown up. It's got 2.5 million views. And a lot of other YouTubers that had previously been sponsored by Established Titles are now cutting ties with this company, and they are no longer they've dropped the sponsorships with Established Titles. But I'm using this as an example to point out that if you're an influencer or you're doing something on social media and you have a following, you're getting sponsors, if you're like the companies and the people you align yourself with publicly, that affects your reputation. So if you take a sponsorship with established titles and you find out it's a scam, you're going to take a bit of a hit to your credibility. Even if you didn't know, I do think influencers have some level of responsibility for vetting sponsors and for vetting business relationships. And this particular thing is just the latest example of what happens if you just blindly take money from a company that literally came out of nowhere, like established titles. They were paying these influencers tons, like I've heard it was tons of money. And that can be very tempting. I mean, if someone was offering me like $20,000 a month, I think that would definitely be hard to say no to. But like all of these influencers, all of these YouTubers now have total egg on their face because they chose to take a sponsorship from a company that ended up being a total scam. There was also something a few years ago where all these, you've noticed these companies will come after all the channels at once. So that's why you will see YouTubers all hawking the same stuff. I have seen so many sponsorships lately for established titles. Back in the day, there was a flap with a company called BetterHelp, which is supposed to be like online therapy or something. And they had some issues, so a lot of YouTubers also the same thing. They had been taking money from BetterHelp, and then when BetterHelp had a scandal, things got a little dicey for them. So, and I think that's a question for you too. At what level do you hold influencers accountable for their business relationships? I understand that it can be kind of hard to vet companies sometimes. I will say that on the daily, I get emails from companies I've never heard of every single day, or literally it's like I'm an Amazon seller. They're always like an overseas Amazon seller selling some weird thing I've never heard of. I will get asked to hawk. I've been asked to promote video games, perfume, t-shirts, all kinds of crazy stuff like LED light bulbs, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. And at this point, I would absolutely never consider working with any sort of Amazon seller or anyone that's not an established company that we've heard of. And I don't know. So that's kind of going back to the original point, though. That's why kind of when I was emailing initially with this PR person for LawClick Crafter, I just got this weird gut feeling that things were going to go sideways. And look at us here right now. Things have gone sideways. So, yeah, I'm a little pissed off that they wasted so much of my time. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be doing anything with them in the future. So yeah. All right. So the other example I want to bring up too, this one I'm sure everyone has heard of, and it's the FTX scandal. How many huge podcasters, YouTubers, and big celebrities were promoting FTX, which looks like it turned out to be one huge fraudulent operation. Lots of people lost a lot of money through FTX. I mean, look at all of these people. And so I found this blog post just kind of posing the question, how, should we be holding influencers accountable for the sponsors and the brand deals they do? I think that's a valid question. And it is a little hard. Like FTX had so much money. They were throwing so much money around. They had a Super Bowl ad. So they kind of came out of nowhere too and created sort of this fake air of legitimacy. They had a Super Bowl ad. So I can sort of more understand why a lot of influencers were fooled by this company. But I mean, yeah. There were so many financial channels promoting FTX. I mean, guys, y'all need to wake up, do your homework, be careful about the business relationships you are forming, and then if again, we're all human and we make mistakes. Own the mistake, and make things right. But here's what I want to say is that you only get one reputation. So again, people might be able to forgive like one slip up, maybe two. But if you have a track record of continuing to promote these shady companies or do business deals like this, how long are you going to last? And how much of a hit are you willing to take when it comes to your credibility? That's an honest question here. So, all right, let me get some water. We're gonna keep chatting. I'm gonna share some personal stories. I'm gonna share some personal influencer stories. So, yeah, debt-free quilter, man. Like, you got to be careful. I am so glad right now that I'm unbeholden to anyone. I don't have any business contracts. I'm not a spokesperson. And you know what? For instances like this, it reminds me exactly why I do this. I think you need to be aware if the influencer is providing entertainment or truly promoting products, services they like or find useful. Yeah, and I do really feel like there are some sponsorships and brand deals that make sense. Don't take away from the content. And I think they can. I don't think these arrangements always are going to be sketchy. I think there are some legitimate ones. I've seen some good brand deals. Okay, so for instance, my friends over at the social media accounts Cowbutt Crunchies Cosplay, they don't really do a lot of product reviews. They're more like making things and showing the process. So for Cowbutt Crunchies Cosplay, great channel by the way, great Instagram, they can have a sewing machine sponsorship and it really doesn't take away from what they're doing. And they're also not, like that's the thing, they're not really doing product reviews. They're showing themselves making awesome stuff. So I think it makes a lot more sense for somebody like that to have a sponsorship. They can sign an exclusivity deal and all of that stuff and, and promote a certain brand of sewing machines, which I know they do have a sewing machine sponsorship. And I think that makes a lot of sense for them. And I don't think that's a detriment to their audience at all. So I think there are certain situations where sponsorships and brand deals are totally fine. That being said, for what I do on this channel, I just don't see a lot of those situations being workable for me. So I know a lot of influencers are told you need to do brand deals if you want to survive in this space. Guys, I'm giving up. Like I don't really do them to begin with, but this whole experience with Locklet Crafter has really put me off to even trying to talk with these companies just overall. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Because here's the thing. If you are in contact with the company that you're reviewing products on and you're giving them feedback and you're allowing them a chance to like fix things before you put out your content, is that really a true, completely organic review if you're allowing that company to have input into your content? I think that's where the waters get muddied for me, and that's why I don't like companies to have any sort of input for my content. So I don't give them updates. I'm not checking in with them being like, hey, here's my progress for this week. No, I do not agree to any of that. But every single time, in most situations where I've accepted free products, the brand has tried to do that. And I've pushed back and I said, hey, that's not what you agreed to. You agreed to a completely hands-off arrangement. And then they come back and try to change they try to go back on their word. And that's not something I'm okay with. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit more about, I want to talk more about my overall experience because again, this Locklet Crafter situation is not a one-off situation at all. This has been like pretty much the norm, and this is more the rule instead of the exception. Whew. All right. Anyways, if you're still watching, by the way, thank you for sticking with me. I realize this is a very, I try to keep these videos kind of like upbeat and positive most of the time, but like today, man, I just can't. I just can't. So, and if you have any questions, or if there's anything you want to know about me or about like my experience, leave them in the chat or in the comments below if you're watching it on the replay. And I will try to answer the best I can. But I really take this very seriously here, to be extremely transparent and honest. All right, so let's share a couple. It's story time, guys. It's story time. All right, so this actually happened over on my other channel, Jen Talks Forever. If you don't know, I have another channel where I do like non-sewing content. I've been trying to figure out that whole thing. It's called Jen Talks Forever. And a while back, I had a food company reach out to me, and they wanted me to send me their product and have me do a video about it. I was like, I don't know. And again, the companies that typically reach out, it's like they're not usually companies you've ever heard of. It's like some random new trendy startup. By the way, I'm kind of over startups. I'm just like, everyone's trying to be like the next whatever, like we're the next Uber, or, then they raise a bunch of money, blah, blah, blah. Everyone thinks their startup is like the greatest idea ever. So I got an email from this startup food company, and they wanted to send me a product. And I said, look, I'll potentially consider it, but I will only do the video if we can say whatever we want about the product. So typically brands don't want that. They do not want to give up. They want to have a lot of control over the content that they're contracting through influencers, even if it's just free product. In fact, those companies can be some of the most demanding, the ones that aren't even giving you actual money. So I wrote back to this company and I said, look, you're welcome to send it, but I have to be 100% with the audience. So if you're not down with that, I understand, but that's the parameters that I will accept this product. So of course the guy writes back and he's like, we feel so confident in our product, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I also mentioned, I said, my husband is also a formally trained chef, and he's pretty brutal with his review. He's pretty brutal with his critique of food items. So is that something, you want? And they're like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So the company sends me this product, and I'll say what it was. It was like steaks and meat. So I'm not going to say the company name, but it was like it was just another one of those like it was like kind of like an Omaha Steaks ripoff, where they send you quote unquote the highest quality steaks and seafood and blah 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 blah. So they send this box, and some of the steaks were okay. The seafood they sent was it was honestly pretty terrible. So, and they let me choose like what kind of items I wanted. But I showed the items to my husband, who's the formally trained chef, and he thought everything was, he definitely was like, this, they sent like a package of salmon. He's like, this salmon is like the equivalent of canned salmon. And he also said the steaks are okay, but the product was really expensive. So he said, for the price, this product is like, he's like, I would never pay anything close to the price they're charging for this product. Like a lot of these other meal type boxes though, you know what I'm talking about, like with the HelloFreshes out there, where they give you a great deal, like almost an unbeatable deal on like the first box or the second box, and then things revert to the normal price. That's what this company was doing. So the initial box was like $50 or something. It was something like where you're like, okay, this is a great promotional deal. But then the next box you get is going to be like $250 or something. So I was like, okay. So I write back to this company. I said, hey, I kind of shot the unboxing and I shot my husband's reaction. So I wrote back to this meat company. I said, hey, I gave them the real deal. I said, this was his feedback. And then the guy writes back, the guy responds and says, we would rather you not do the video. And I was like, look, I said, look, a lot of people are skeptical about online reviews, especially if the review says nothing even remotely critical about the product. I said, wouldn't you want a review out there that's pretty real and authentic? And the guy's like, we're a new brand. We're a very new brand. We really only want very positive impressions of our product. And I'm like, okay, so, all right, so we didn't end up doing the video. Yeah, the meat was like it was okay, but I thought my husband and I both thought it was like ridiculously overpriced for what you got. All right, let me check. Is my audio still good? All right, I think my audio is still good. So that's the story with this random meat company. So the reason I'm telling you these stories is that you can know like what these companies who are doing influencer marketing, what their business practices are like. They did not want me to do the video that was 100% honest. They told me, they literally sent me some products and then they didn't even want the video because it wasn't going to be 1,000%. This is totally awesome. And I think that's kind of the wrong move because when I see these types of videos, I automatically assume they're fake. I'm like, yeah, right. And I do feel like I think if these companies allowed the influencers they're working with to make more organic, honest content, I think that would go a long way for the brand. And I feel like the public trust in that type of content would be higher. But just from my own experiences with all of this stuff, I'm like, okay, so I know if I see any videos for this meat company, they're not really going to be genuine. So I'm like, okay, 10-4. And that's not the only type of experience I've had. So, all right, let's read some comments. Okay. Something tells me that I've gotten better products from the guys that drive around the back roads selling steaks and stuff out of their pickups. Yeah, like those weird mall, like the ones where it's like, get 30 ribeyes for $20 in the mall parking lot. Yeah. So that was my experience having a company reach out and try to give me some meat. That's the thing. These companies would rather you not do a video, period, than have any remote, any remote piece of criticism in the content. And to me, that's just totally disingenuous. Okay. Let's also talk about, I think in the 6 years I've been on YouTube, I think I've only done 4 situations where I've signed any sort of contract. And I will say I regret signing all of them. Moving forward, it's going to be very, very difficult to get me to sign anything that a company is trying to get me to sign. And out of those 4 situations, only two out of the 4 compensated me with money. And only one of those situations involved me making a video for my channel. In the other one, they were contracting me to create content for their social media channels and their website, but they actually did not require me to create any content for my own channel. So only one of those situations, out of the 4 contracts I've signed in 6 years, only one of them was an integrated video. You may be able to figure out what it is. I'm not gonna say it, but all right, regarding the email, the info on why they suspended the Kickstarter was mentioned on the YouTube video you showed. So what YouTube video was it in the info section? Let me know what it is, Racer Girl. Oh, so the Kickstarter, okay, so I think I know what you mean. When Kickstarter had put their like initial, like this is why this campaign was suspended. There were, if this is what you're referring to, there were a number of reasons, and that third party malicious, IP thing was one of them, but that was like one of like 4 possible reasons. Okay, so yeah, and I'll show you the Kickstarter. So, but that's the thing, Locklick, the company never clarified which one it was. So Racer Girl, nobody really knew which reason it was. And all of the correspondence directly from Locklick was just super vague. So they never until today, they themselves have never clarified like what went wrong. Let me try to find it because I do remember seeing that. Let's see here. All right, let me see if I can find this. But Racer Girl, Locklick, up until today, I have never gotten, and they have never publicly released any clarification on which of the reasons Kickstarter gave for the suspension was what actually happened. So that's, let's see, I'm trying to find out. All right, I know what you're talking about. Let me see if I can find it. But basically, it was like, they gave like, there was like a, why was this campaign suspended? And there was several possible reasons, but none of us knew which one it was. So we had no idea why it was suspended. Let me see if I can find it. And someone mentioned that woman Kimberly has made a video about it. Hey, I'm curious to see what it is. So if you know what it is, leave it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching it on the replay. But I truly feel like with Locklick, I did my due diligence and I tried to be as upfront as I could with reporting on what was happening. But that's the thing, I can't share information I don't have. So I feel like it's a bit unreasonable to expect that of me when you've provided nothing up until today. And you gave me the information today, and I am doing the update video you asked for. So this is it, Kim. This is it. All right, I'm looking for the suspension thing here. Hold on a second. But yeah, this whole thing was like the whole thing was super strange. Okay, Denise, this is a good comment. I was bothered by what they said about not wanting to deal with taking the time to work with Kickstarter about resolving the issue. They just went to a different platform. Huge red flag for me. Okay, you know what? And that's the thing. I think we as consumers have every right to do our due diligence into a company that we are giving money to. And if there's something that we find a little strange or want answers on, I think we deserve to know. I think we deserve to know what's going on. All right, let me try to find. So yeah, Racer Girl, they didn't, yeah, so Kickstarter, they gave like several potential reasons, but they literally did not give the specific reason. They just said, a Kickstarter can be suspended for any number of these reasons, but as far as I know, we did not, until right now, we really did not know which reason it was for the suspension. And if what they're saying is true, that it was like some weirdo with, that was kind of like using bots or fraudulent activity to purchase many machines, then that is, not their fault, but they also could have cleared that up a long time ago instead of waiting over 1 month and then sending me that random email and making those weird demands. So that's kind of, that didn't sit well with me. And I just I don't know, I'm just, again, this product could be amazing. I don't know because I don't have the product. So I can't even speak to the product quality or what I think of it because, I literally have no idea. Because I literally have no idea like what's going on. All right, I'm trying to figure out. All right, let me just look up why. Because I remember going over the reasons during that one live stream. Why Kickstarters will be suspended. Okay, Because they had like some blanket thing. Okay, here we go. All right, so I found, all right, so this is what Kickstarter says. Why would a project be suspended? So let me find, okay, so yeah, there's a lot of different reasons that a project can be suspended. But yeah, if you go to the original Locklit Crafter Kickstarter suspended video, from what I remember, I think we went over that, and I was like, okay, so this is what Kickstarter is saying. But Locklit, and I've seen a lot of people, I've seen quite a few people ask on their social media accounts, like, what happened, and Kickstarter would give that like canned, generic, very vague answer, like, we're trying to figure things out, stay with us, blah 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 blah. But they never actually, they never actually shared like what happened. So I have no idea. Okay, Making Dreams Come True. That's the link for the, or for some reason I didn't get a link. Is it on YouTube? So if it's on YouTube, let me know what the title is or something, or like the channel or anything like that. All right, so in the meantime though, all right, I would get the product to do an honest review, screw the company. Here's the thing though, I feel like I'm kind of soured to this whole thing now. And like, I don't know, the idea of trying to shoot a review on this now, I just don't, yeah, I don't know. All right, so Making Dreams Come True, I'm not sure if, I think links, I actually think, I think I might have a setting where like links won't come through. Tell me the title of the video. Because I think for some reason I'm not seeing any comments with links in it. Sorry, I just need some water. Okay. All right, I think we're all done with this product. I think I'm pretty much done with it. But hey, Kimberly, this is the update video you asked me to do. You said you wanted me to do a new video and update people with the information. So this is my update video. I'm sure you're not a fan, but that's okay. Okay, only moderators and channel. Okay, so sorry about that, Making Dreams Come True. But Making Dreams Come True, if you have the title of the video, I can probably look that up. Exactly, Racer Girl. I would rather have an honest review, not a corporate review. That's what these companies are not getting. They want this like manufactured influencer content, but it's like not real. And the thing is, like, people don't, like, that's not what people want. So like, if people want honest reviews, and here's the thing, I don't really blame the influencers. I put a lot more of the onus on these companies for setting the tone. And for, I would really respect companies that say, hey, you know what? We'll send you PR, you can do what you want with them. We're not going to tell you what to do, be you, I would have a lot of respect for that. And I think that company would get a lot more genuine content, and it would benefit them like infinitely more than putting these parameters on these creators. So I don't necessarily fault the creators, because I do think, especially when you're a smaller creator, because I've been a very small influencer, and I think a lot of these people feel pressure to appease these brands. Like, they want to develop these relationships with companies because it's exciting, and they're like, oh, I'm going to be like big time. And I feel like a lot of newer or smaller influencers are kind of afraid to push back on anything. And they're more like, I feel like there is some pressure to do what the brand asks. And I'm going to share some personal stories because I've done that because I was like, oh, you know, and you know what? I shouldn't have. I do have some regrets on some of my own content here. And you know what? Not happening anymore. Not happening anymore. Okay, let's look it up. Locklick Crafter quick test video. Let's see here. Yeah, I just don't like Locklick seems to have been kind of like, they seem to have been, I don't know, I feel like they've been a little bit like evasive on what happened. For like really, like if that's really what happened and there was some bot activity or whatever, that's really not their fault. Okay, is it, okay, it's this, is it from a channel called Smartphone Fan? That's so weird. Okay. And here's the thing, that's not even, if it's from this channel Smartphone Fan, that's not even like, are they connected to Locklick? This is really weird. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, so the only videos, I've seen some videos from Locklick on like, I think 2 to 3 kind of small YouTube channels. I think one had like 50,000 subscribers and one had like 800 subscribers or something. And they said they got machines from Locklick. And yeah, I did see this whole like smartphone, but I was so confused. I'm like, this random channel is reviewing the Locklick Crafter. It's called Smartphone Fan. Like, that's so strange. So yeah, I don't know. Okay. I subscribe to Tech Guys. One of them is the only one that does honest reviews, but they have a ton of subscribers. Yeah. Here's the thing. If you have a very large channel, I think in a lot of ways it does make it easier for you to remain independent and not rely on sponsorships and ad deals as much because, again, you're probably making a lot more money on the ad revenue itself, so you can afford to buy a lot of your own products. And you can also sell, a lot of these influencers have their own products, or they'll have like a Patreon or some sort of fan funding. And I think those are good because you're not relying on some sort of corporate sponsorship. And I think that allows people more creative freedom and independence. Okay. So, all right. Making dreams come true. Thank you. I'll watch this afterwards. So I had seen these videos pop up. I didn't really watch them because, so the reason I didn't really check them out was because I'm like, this isn't like, because this wasn't really from Locklick, you know, because it's from that random channel, Smartphone Fans. So I was kind of looking for something more officially from Locklick, and I have not seen anything officially. Okay, you say so she says so do you think that's the PR person? That's really weird that she's on this random channel called Smartphone Fans. That is so is she a host of this channel or is she a PR person? That's very strange. And Kimberly was emailing me from this PR lady Maria's email, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, so, yeah, I honestly do not know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this whole situation, but that email, and you know what? Since I wrote back to Kimberly, I have not heard anything back since, and I emailed her back probably about 8 hours ago. So I've given her I gave her a bit of time before I did this live stream to write back to me after that, and she didn't write down yet. After I called her out on some of this shadiness, I have not heard, and I've heard crickets again, radio silence from the PR people saying they're representing Locklick Crafter. Locklick Crafter, this is not helping. This is not helping anything. Okay. So I want to tell you guys about like the only sponsorship I've done here on this channel. I'm not going to say the name, but so typically when you get a contract for any sort of brand deal, I've seen quite a few of these because I get these all the time. They typically do require some type of exclusivity. So if I'm doing, like, say I'm doing an iPhone sponsorship, I'm not, but if I was, Apple would probably require me to only, like, the exclusivity clause would be like, you can only feature Apple brand phones in your videos for 4 months after our contract ends or something like that. It's something like ridiculous like that. Or like if I use a certain brand of scissors and I get a sponsorship for that, they'll say we need to have complete category exclusivity for 6 months. So you can only use our brand cutting materials, cutting tools for 6 months, you know, after our campaign ends, blah, blah. I think that's pretty ridiculous. Like, I'm not brand loyal to one brand for most products. So asking me to only use that particular brand's products for like 4 to 6 months, that's not something I would agree to. The other thing that will happen is there's typically something in the contract, again, about brand disparagement. So if I had done some sort of contract with LawClick, for instance, I would not be able to say anything negative about the company. I don't even know like if there's like a time frame, maybe ever, like in perpetuity. I don't know. It depends on what the contract says. So just a word of warning, if you're in the influencer space and somebody's trying to get you to sign a contract, you need to read all of the fine print. And in many situations, I would recommend getting an attorney to look at this contract because they may be trying to pull one over on you and you may not be savvy enough legally to know that. So I just want to share that that's something that's super common with these influencer contracts, is that they will require those types of things. We saw that during the whole Cricut debacle, which, by the way, if you notice, I'm wearing my Cricut video sweater. So maybe like this is my like I Mean Business sweater, something like that. I don't know. So a lot of the Cricut influencers were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because Cricut got a lot of very negative vibes, and these people couldn't say shit because they had signed a contract most likely saying, I will not say anything to disparage this brand or like hurt their reputation, anything like that. So that's super common. The reason I want to share this with you is so that you can know when you're watching content, reading blogs, following Instagram influencers, how this world works, and just to have your eyes open when they are promoting anything, using products, anything like that, because, you know, this is important to you because they're trying to promote products to get you to buy them. That's the whole point of influencer marketing, is getting you to buy things. Also, I've noticed a lot of influencers not following these guidelines, but America-based influencers are supposed to follow the Federal Trade Commission guidelines. There's a handbook. In fact, after this live stream is over, I will link it I'll put it in the description box because I think it would be useful. One, for influencers to know what they're supposed to be doing. I think a lot of these people just don't know. There's a lot of rules around giveaways, which is why I personally don't really do giveaways on this channel, because legally there's just too much risk for me. And there's too much red tape, and it's not worth it to me. The risk is too high. People are also supposed to disclose when they get free products, when they get sponsorships, even if this is something that was in the FTC guideline handbook. All right, so say a restaurant offers customers a 15% off coupon at their next visit if they post something on Instagram about the restaurant. That is actually an exchange of value there. And that customer, legally, they don't know this. Legally, that customer is supposed to be disclosing in their social media post that they received an incentive from the restaurant to post on social media. Now, most people do not do this. I don't even think most restaurants are aware that this guideline exists, but it does. And you can be fined by the FTC by not following all these influencer guidelines. Because if a restaurant is offering you a coupon to post a picture on Instagram, they are offering you a financial incentive to post, and that's not a totally organic interaction there. That's definitely not. So people are supposed to be doing this. I don't think they do because they just have no clue. Same thing goes for leaving reviews online. So if you leave a review on like Amazon, Walmart, any sort of online marketplace, if you got some sort of compensation for leaving the review, or if you got the item for free, you are required to disclose that. So say a restaurant, again, we'll use a restaurant as an example. Say a restaurant tells you, if you leave us a 5-star Google review, we'll give you $5 off your next visit. That, again, muddies the water, because a customer then has a financial incentive to post a positive review on Google reviews, and that's not completely organic. They're getting compensation, and the restaurant is obviously doing that to boost their rating online, because a lot of people look at Google reviews, but that customer is supposed to be disclosing in their review, I received a financial incentive to post this review, or something like that. That is legally, they are supposed to be disclosing all of that. So there's a lot of stuff surrounding all of this, this stuff, and I think most people just are not aware of all of the guidelines. But if you want to Google it, just Google FTC influencer guidelines, and the FTC put out a very handy, very informative guide about what influencers are doing. But you as the viewer also deserve to know what influencers are supposed to be disclosing in their content. And if they don't, they're in the wrong, because that's not being transparent to you, and they're getting into the territory where they're starting to be deceptive. I think a lot of these people do not understand these rules, or and if you don't live in the US, they have different rules over there, sure. But if you are a US based influencer, you are supposed to be following all of these guidelines. I try my best to follow all these. If I got a product for free that I'm featuring in a video, I will say, Eversone gave me this faux leather, or Clover sent me this, tool, something like that. You're also supposed to be putting a graphic up. They also recommend you say it verbally. You have a graphic within the video, and you also put a disclaimer in the description box. So that is all in the FTC guidelines. So if you see influencers and they are not doing that, and you suspect that they receive products for free, or they're being sponsored, then they're either knowingly or unknowingly violating the FTC guidelines. We don't necessarily know which one. Also, if you're on YouTube and you have if you have a sponsored video, when you upload the video, there's a little check box, and you check it if it's a sponsored video. Now, I don't believe you have to check it if you just got an item for free, more like if a brand is actually paying you for that content. But nevertheless, that influencer should be disclosing to you if they did not pay for an item, or even if they got a discount on the item. Like if I got a sponsorship from Toyota, and they gave me a $5,000 discount on my car, to post about it in videos, that's definitely receiving financial compensation, and that is something that I would be required to disclose. So I know this might be getting a little bit into the weeds here, but I just wanted to kind of chat about this. I mean, why not? There was an instance, so I've only done one brand deal here on the channel where it was an integrated video, where a company sponsored the video. They paid me to do a video on my channel featuring their product, and it had all of that standard stuff. You can't disparage the company. It didn't have an exclusivity clause, because this product was kind of a one-off, so it wasn't really there weren't really any other products in the category, but they did require approval over the content, so I couldn't just post the content. I had to send it to them to review. But the thing that really annoyed me about this particular situation, and again, this is a situation where in hindsight, I really wish I'd pushed back on them, because this was kind of crappy. This product, so this company was going to be, they had some sort of website revamp or something, and but the product was available to purchase on their website and also on Amazon. Now, if you've been following me for any amount of time, I am an Amazon affiliate. I'm very transparent about that. I actually like affiliate programs almost more, because generally the companies don't get involved with the content, so you have a lot more creative freedom. So I specifically told my contact with this company, hey, this product is available on Amazon, so I would I need to be able to link the product on Amazon because I'm an Amazon affiliate. So at least I would also get, something, a little bit, something extra out of that by the potential for Amazon affiliate commission money if someone purchases the product from Amazon. So the person agreed to this. They agreed, I think, and here's my mistake. I believe it was over the phone. Another thing I want to point out, get everything in writing. Do not rely on what someone tells you verbally, unless you're like on a Zoom call that's being recorded, so you can reference that later, or if it's an email. But I've had several instances where someone told me something over the phone and then later tried to pretend that they didn't say that to me, or said, hey, I know we said this, but you actually have to do this. So this company told me, and I relied on this to make my decision. I was like, okay, I'm getting paid X amount of money. I think at the time it was like $600. So, to me, that was a lot of money. And this company said, yes, you will be able to link to so I was going to link to their website and to the Amazon link just to give people different options. Some people don't like ordering from random websites. Some people like ordering from Amazon because they're comfortable with that platform. So I was told I would be able to do that. I did the video. They approved the video. I don't think they had any changes. So they didn't really, to their credit, they didn't really dictate the content too much. But then when it came time to post this video, they said, hey, we're going to need you to not link to Amazon and only link to our website. And I said, hey, you told me I could link to Amazon and I'm an Amazon affiliate, so that would help me. And they're like, yeah, but we can't do that. And I was like, that was one of my earlier experiences where with having a company kind of do the bait and switch with you and tell you one thing and then try to change it later. And that has been reminiscent of my experience since. So I've had that happen more times than I want. So this company told me that I would be able to link to Amazon, then said, no, you can't. You can only link to our website. The problem a lot of people had with shopping on this company's website is Amazon usually has free shipping, or if you have Prime or very low shipping. The company's shipping costs directly from the website were pretty crazy. So I did have a few people comment on that video and say, hey, I was going to order it off the website, but the shipping was was crazy expensive, so I can't buy the product. And I did pass that. So I told the company, I said, hey, people are complaining about shopping on your website because, the shipping costs are astronomical. And they're like, well, blah, 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 blah. They kind of tried to downplay the cost of the shipping, which was really crazy. And they're like, well, yeah, but we have frequent sales on our website, so that really offsets the cost of shipping. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's just insane. So they didn't really want to take any sort of responsibility or accountability or even really try to fix the shipping situation. I've had nothing to do with this company since. I'm glad. That was just my first early interaction with a representative for this company, where I just felt like their behavior was a little bit dicey. Yeah. I had a lot of people try to offer me free products. I'll send them the work with me page and I'll say, if you're welcome to send it, but you have to abide by my parameters. Again, I want to be the one calling these shots. At this point, these brands are not going to be dictating what I'm doing. And I've had a lot of people after that just ghost me, which is fine, because I'm like, okay, that weeds out the people I really don't want to have anything to do with anyways. But I've had quite a few companies, they will agree to all of that and they'll be like, all right, let me get your, mailing address. And then they'll try to see if they can get me to how can I say this? Bend the rules for them. And I'm like, yeah, no. So I tell them no, and they're like, oh, okay. And you know what? A lot of these people, when I say, yeah, no, that this is very solid, this is firm, this is the only, these are the only conditions I will accept these products. Many of them never end up sending me anything. And to be quite frank with you, that is completely fine with me. I would rather buy the item and not have to deal with this nonsense from these clueless PR and marketing people that are just like trying to like control. That's the thing. Like if you really just want to have controlled content, why not just create it yourself? Like the only reason you're going to these people is because you want access to their audience. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm not just giving that away to anybody, and I don't just allow anyone in here to sell things to people watching the Sewing Report. You know, where was the Locklick Crafter company when I was at 200 subscribers? Where were they when I was at 1,000 subscribers? You and I, like you watching, have built this channel to almost 100,000 subscribers. And these brands had no contribution to that as far as like working with me directly. So and I will say this, some smaller influencers, I think they will also feel a bit pressured to like appease the brand so that they'll get a shout out on like Instagram or something like that. I don't really care about that. I'm not real big on Instagram overall. At this point, I don't even really like being on Instagram. Like I'll post on there. I don't enjoy Instagram as a platform. I just find it to be like very I find Instagram to be one of the fakest platforms out there. And I rarely get brands, and I don't, if I shout out brands a lot, again, that's just me shouting out because I like the product. I rarely get larger brands shouting me out at all. Like hardly ever. Like if I use their fabric or whatever, if I'm using their products, I can't remember any instance where a very large brand with a very large Instagram account has given me a shout out. But yet they want me to feature their brand on my channel for free. Yeah, no thank you. No thank you. I apologize if this video sounds like very unhinged. I'm just in that kind of mood. It's been one of those kind of days. I woke up, read that email, and then was like immediately feeling like in a very sour mood the whole day. I did eat something, so I'm not super hungry. But like, I'm just over all of this. So that's why I am unloading and sharing it all. I'm an open book. Don't really care at this point. And at this point, I don't rely on brand deals or sponsorships, period. Again, that's why I have the Etsy shop. That's why I do freelance work for somebody. That's why I have multiple monetized channels. And that is very intentional. And that's so I don't have to worry about asking a corporation to pay my bills. I'm not expecting that. I don't really give a shit. And if a brand does not if a brand is not on board with what we're doing here, I don't need them. I do not need brand deals. I do not need sponsorships. And I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has purchased things from the Etsy shop. You have no idea like how much of a difference that has made just to help me grow something that's a little separate than YouTube. So I'm so grateful for everyone who has made a purchase on the Sewing Report Etsy shop. I've been really trying to offer products that I think are useful and cool, and I'm very happy. Again, the Etsy shop kind of is breaking even right now, but it is still growing, and again, I'm still growing as a creator. I'm just really pleased with the direction it's gone, and it really allows me, and doing stuff like that really helps me to stay 100% independent. I don't ever have to worry like, oh, well, I can't do this video because I have this, brand deal and I don't want to piss them off or whatever. I don't really care. So, what it is what it is. It is what it is. And I also want to share, like, YouTube gave me access, like, kind of recently to open up something called like channel memberships. It's supposed to be sort of like Patreon, but on YouTube, where you can get different levels of membership and do like a monthly, like kind of like a monthly membership or something. And then I, as a creator, can offer different tiers of content. Like I can have members only content. I have not really publicly advertised that, but randomly 2 of you actually signed up for the membership. So thank you for that. Like I was like, I have 2 members on the Sewing Report. So even having 2 members on the Sewing Report, I'm like, I feel so grateful to you for having the faith in me and for like putting up a monthly, so like basically monthly subscription for any amount of money. That's a big deal. That's a big commitment, and I do not take that lightly. I'm trying to figure out, I would like to offer some type of members only content for the Sewing Report. What that is, I'm not exactly sure. So if you have any suggestions, leave it in the chat or in the comments below if you're watching it on the replay. I would love to hear some of your ideas for members only content, because if I do have people paying for memberships here, I wouldn't really feel right doing it unless I'm offering them something. You know what I can do? For starters, I do offer this on Patreon. I have like a handful of patrons over on Patreon. I do offer them a quarterly discount code for the Etsy shop. So I guess for starters, if you are a members only, if you are a Sewing Report YouTube member, I'll start to post some stuff on the members only community tab. So you can post on the community tab, or you can upload videos just that members will see. So I think for starters, I can offer you at least like a discount code if you want to shop the Etsy. And if you have any other suggestions for how I can, make that, bring some value to the membership space, I'm very open to hearing suggestions and ideas, because that's just another way that I can grow as a creator without relying on any sort of sponsorships or brand deals, because I hate them. I just hate them. I don't really want to do them. I've even had people on Twitter be like, why aren't you doing sponsorship? I'm like, quite honestly, because I just don't like doing them. I've been very frustrated with that whole thing, and I'm just not loving. Like, if I had to rely on doing sponsored videos, I would just not enjoy YouTube at all. Like, I would not want to do it. So having someone else, having the freedom is what I love about YouTube. And if that's taken away from me, I no longer want to do YouTube. If someone else is being like, you need to do this video, or you need to do this way, or talk this way, or change the title of this video, then I just lose my interest and passion for doing this. And I don't really want that to happen. So that's the point of tonight's stream. If you're joining me late and you're hearing the rantings of an unhinged Asian woman at 9:21 p.m. on a Wednesday, I would encourage you to go back towards the beginning, where I kind of explain like what sparked this all today, and why we are here, how we ended up here. All right, let's read some more comments. Okay. Miss Maddie, it would be awesome if more people were like you. If so, these brands maybe would actually step up their game. That's a good point. And I know you're also a YouTuber as well. I think more people need to start pushing back on all of these requirements for brand deals, and maybe they would start to get it, but I'm not even sure that. I don't even have faith in that. I think a lot of these like corporate marketing people are just so far gone and out of touch with real people. I don't even think they understand how to do organic content. When I talk to businesses about YouTube, like, it's like talking to an alien. Like, these people just have like, it's like they're in such this corporate mindset, they can't even understand what it's like to be an authentic creator or create authentic content. A lot of businesses just want to upload commercials to their YouTube video. And then they're like, we don't get any views on our videos. I was like, Maybe it's because you're only uploading commercials and nobody really wants to watch that stuff. Like, did you ever think of that? All right, Racer Girl, Nancy, they would be fake reviews unless they purchased it themselves. Cecily95, member video could be sew along tutorials with projects and materials announced ahead of time. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I would probably, at that point, I would need to have like a substantial amount of members to do that. I gotta try to figure things out. Guys. And we're coming to close to the end of the year. I've got some plans for 2023 that I'm hoping will help take this to the next level. Okay, so maybe like Zoom. Okay, so maybe like live streams with members only where you could kind of like sew along. That's not a bad idea. All right, we could Skype. Sew along idea. Okay. Okay, I'm glad somebody likes my ranting. My husband definitely does not appreciate it. All right, Angela, with a name like Sewing Report, I appreciate that I don't have to wade through a sales pitch for a notion of the week to keep a sponsor happy. Thank you for that. I respect that when I watch, I'm hearing an unbiased opinion. Yeah, this is definitely not a sponsored video, that's for sure. All right, I don't fully know either, to be honest. I haven't done a sponsorship yet for a reason, yeah. Oh, and, okay, so occasionally I will get these like very like cringy emails that are inviting me to apply. I have to apply for a sponsorship. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, seriously? Like, and it'll be something that I would never do on the channel. I've gotten one for like energy bars. I've gotten one from the restaurant Denny's. Like random stuff like that. It's like, and it'll be like they got the campaign all worked out or whatever, and it'll be like, we're offering you the chance to apply for a paid campaign, you know, from Snickers or something. Again, that's just an example. So a couple of times I've actually clicked on these things just to see, I'm like, what the hell is this? So I click on it. And in order to proceed with the application, yes, you have to apply. They're inviting me to apply for a sponsorship. In order to proceed with the application, here's what I find really, really, really questionable. You have to link your social media accounts so the brand can have access to your data. So it'll be like, in order to apply, you need to sign in with your Facebook account or sign in with your Instagram account. And in order to do that, this brand then has access to your internal analytics, your account information. I am not comfortable with that at all. I think that is a really, really sketchy practice. And yeah, no thanks to that. I don't even know where brands started doing that. But that to me is an immediate turnoff. If you have to, like, they don't get access, especially if they're not even at the point where you're paying you money, where you have to, like, the fact that they're requiring you to grant them access to your social media accounts that you built is total nonsense. The other thing with that is that they'll pay you in like a gift, like it'll be like, if you post one Instagram story, one reel, and one YouTube video, in 6 to 8 weeks, we'll give you a $75 Walmart gift card, or we'll transfer the funds via PayPal. I'm like, that doesn't sound sketchy at all. I'm like, yeah, no thank you. So, yeah, asking you for your access to your social media accounts, I don't know who came up with that idea, but y'all need to stop that, because no respectable social media influencer is going to do that. So like, yeah, no thank you. So, yeah, so that's the tea with social media marketing and influencer marketing. I'm trying to think of some more stories, because I do have some. I've just had the most ridiculous interactions with some of these people over the years. And it's just like, I just can't even, it's hard for me to even believe that these things happen because they've just been so weird or so ridiculous. So, yeah. Oh, and there's another one. There is a very well-known sewing machine company that I have mentioned here constantly. In fact, this is one of the major brands that I own and I'm a customer. I've done many videos about this company's sewing machines. So somebody from like the marketing team for this company, I'm not going to say what it is, you can probably figure it out though. They emailed me and they said, you know, we saw you did a video on this brand, this particular model. You know, they're like, we want you to send us your metrics. We want you to, they basically wanted me to send them all of my internal analytics from my YouTube channel. I'm like, yeah, no. I had no real working relationship. Also, this brand, for all of the PR I've given them over the years and promotion, they've never even shouted me out on their social media. They've never really shouted me out on their own social media platforms, which are pretty big. They did actually one time, they posted an Instagram story from one of my posts, but it was actually, the funny thing is, it was a different brand of sewing machine and they didn't realize it. So I said, hey, I appreciate the shout out on your Instagram, but just to let you know, that's not actually your brand. So they took down the post pretty immediately. And since then, they have never given me one, like literally, I have sold thousands of dollars of this company's, thousands. I have probably helped them sell probably close to 100, definitely in the thousands of dollars, like tens, maybe close to $100,000s of dollars worth of sewing machines for them. And to this day, because I'm not like one of their official brand ambassadors, they have yet to really give me a shout out on their social media. Like no Instagram, like again, other than that one time where they posted the wrong sewing machine, they have never mentioned me on their website, blog, YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. So for all I've done this brand, all that they have done in return for me is basically nothing. And they emailed me and asked me to give them a lot of information that I definitely did not need to provide, which is my internal YouTube analytics. And they didn't even offer me any sort of work or like, you know, sponsorship. They're like, yeah, we want to know like the demographics of people watching your video and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Like, that's the thing. I'm like, I don't work for you people. Like, do you not get this? I don't owe you shit. Like, I don't owe you anything. I don't work for you. You're not paying me. Why would I just be like, okay, do they think I'm an idiot? Like, that's what I really want to know. Do these people think I am like brain dead? I mean, maybe I am at this point. I don't know. But that's just beyond, like, just beyond comprehension to me. All right, let's read a few more comments here. Thank you guys for the comments. I hate when channels do sponsors for items that don't relate to their channel. Yeah, me too. That's going to be a hard pass. Good buddy. I know, right? Slightly off topic, but sewing related. Did you see Vice did a video on Sew Steen? I'm not familiar with Sew Steen. I'm assuming that's another sewing influencer. Maybe I'll check it out. I thought it was great to see a sewing story to a non-sewing audience. Yeah, especially from Vice. Don't they usually do like drug cartel stuff or whatever? Or like they normally do like pretty like gritty stories on Vice. All right, will you share your thoughts regarding the Kimberly video after you watch it? You know what? Sure, I'll probably watch it. I don't want to risk them like trying to copyright strike me during the stream, so I won't watch it on stream. I don't know what the video is about. I just felt like just my correspondence, if that's I don't even know if that's the same person. They could just both be named Kimberly. I have no idea who these people are. But yeah, like my whole interactions with everybody at Locklick has just been kind of baffling. I don't know. I feel like it's been very like chaotic, like kind of disorganized. and like not very like, yeah, not very well structured at all, or like, you know, really, yeah. I used to be I think a member of a Swedish sewing forum, and this unknown company was even known back then for their bad marketing team. Okay. Are you talking about Locklick, or are you talking about Locklick or another one? Okay. No, you're not brain dead. It's just the time of day at this point. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right. So, okay. So Sewstein, she sews historical fashion. All right. Oh, yeah. Guys, I'm like, stick a fork in me, because I think I'm toast. I think I'm done. I know it's like 9:30. All right, so we've been going for about 2 hours. Yeah, if there's anything else you want to know right here, right now, hit me up. I'd be happy to try to answer anything about what I think about influencer marketing, brand deals, these, you know, companies. I might have some like, might have some more stories. I just really hope talking about this has shown a bit of a light on the content you're seeing on social media, especially content where the brand is involved with the influencer in some way. So hopefully this helped you. Yeah, I'll probably sign off soon. I actually need to shoot another video after this. I shot another video that was gonna go out Saturday. I'm not sure, I might put it out still, but I need to kind of start shooting videos ahead. I'm kind of far behind with doing things ahead. Okay, yeah, making new dreams. I hope that's the thing I think people need to know this stuff, because like a lot of this stuff with the influencer marketing is like really sketchy. Like, I'm sorry, but the website where if you need to apply for a sponsorship, you have to give them access to all your accounts, that's weird, and I'm not comfortable with that at all. And I'm not going to do it for the chance at a $75 gift card to Sam's Club or whatever it is. And it's always like they always pay you in some like weird way. Oh, all right. I thought of another story you might like. So a few months after I had done all of these Cricut videos, I got an email from, again, another kind of clueless PR person that was covering a product launch. I think it was for the launch of the Cricut Maker 3. I believe that's what it was. So I got an email from, again, rando PR firm, and what they were pitching me was a campaign. Again, it's always some freaking campaign to launch the Cricut Maker 3 bundles available at Joann Fabrics. And I would be able to, I loved how they were sending this to me, someone who has done some very Cricut critical videos. So I don't think Cricut would have chosen me as their influencer of choice, if we're going to be honest here. And I would be able to get like a Cricut Maker 3 bundle. Like they had different bundles, like one for quilters and one for like scrapbookers, you know, so they had different things going on. So, okay, so at the time, I think they reached out, I had about 75,000 subscribers. So I fully realize I'm not a massive channel. I'm not PewDiePie, I'm not Mr. Beast. I don't even have 100,000 subscribers at this point. But this is still a fairly decent sized channel, so I'm not tiny. All right, so the deal was that I would need to do like a bunch of social media posts, video, blah, blah, blah. I would get a Cricut Maker 3 bundle and a $100 gift card to Joann Fabrics. So a video that would probably take me these videos take me, like for a pretty intense video, like for a pretty intensive video, like a sewing machine review, or like some where I have to shoot a lot of B-roll, I'm getting a lot of, I have to do some research on to edit these and to make it look the way I want it. Some of these videos will take me a week, 2 weeks to shoot and edit. So that's a lot of work involved. And they were going to offer me a free product, which you have to also realize that the product cost to the company providing it is so low because, again, the retail price for the Cricut Maker 3 bundle, maybe it was $450, but what's the actual cost for Cricut to produce these? Probably much lower than that. So if the Cricut Maker 3 bundle cost like $100 for cost of goods, and then Joann's, I'm getting a $100 Joann gift card, basically it only costs them $200 to get influencer content. Like that's, again, that's kind of insult. I felt like that offer was also kind of insulting. I would never take it because I don't want to promote Cricut anymore. But the fact that they were basically offering me a free Cricut Maker 3 and a $100 gift card to Joann, not even like cash or anything, I was like, this is kind of stupid. So that is, yeah. So I have not done any, clearly, and I even wrote back to the person and I said, hey, you may not be aware of this, but I've done a lot of videos that are pretty critical of the Cricut company, and this is not a company I choose to promote. And she's like, oh, okay, I didn't know. And this thing, these PR people, like, they don't know anything. Like, they don't know much about Cricut, really. Like, they're not in this space. They're just the PR firm that's been hired by Cricut to cover this particular event. So typically the PR people that are reaching out to influencers, they don't know jack shit about sewing or crafts or quilting. They're just like a young PR person, you know, who's trying to make their way in the world. You know, and I don't blame them for that, but at the same time, that explains a lot. So anyways, that's probably about where we're going to end it. Let's read a few more comments. Thank you, Racer Girl, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Nancy, I did a search for Locklick on YouTube, and there are so many fake reviews talking about how wonderful it is. It's so icky. I think I'm done with the Locklick people. Yeah, kind of done with this. And if you are Kimberly, the PR person, again, I will once again reiterate this message, fuck off, and don't contact me again, because I'm not gonna respond to any further correspondence. In fact, I regret even offering the Locklick person to interview them. I don't want to interview anyone with Locklick. Yeah, I don't really care. So that's about it. I know this has gone so long. I really appreciate everyone who continues to watch these videos, no matter how crazy they are. I really appreciate everything. If you would like to see some of the original Locklick Crafter live streams, you can find them here on the channel. And if you're kind of new here, I've talked about social media marketing and my gripes with this whole space before. This is not new. You know, if this is not for you, I totally understand as well. So that's my honest thoughts. You're probably not going to change my mind. I know everyone has differing opinions. This may not be a very popular opinion, but I don't care. All right, I almost got a job with Cricut during the pandemic. I live near the headquarters and decided against it. Someone I knew said their relative had a bad experience. You know, and from what it sounds like, Cricut was a pretty decent company. Wait, have they been bought out by somebody? Like, I know things have... Oh, and by the way, the Cricut stock price has taken a plunge. So they don't seem to be doing very well. So I greatly appreciate everyone tuning in. And I hope, I hope this was, if you didn't know much about influencer marketing, I hope this was somewhat informative. There was some adult language in here. I know I usually try to keep it pretty clean, but tonight we're going to make an exception. I'm probably going to have, I kind of have mostly stopped drinking too, but I might have some wine later. But I have to shoot I'm going to shoot a video for my other channel, Jen Talks Forever, after this. So hopefully I can get that done. And I'm not sure when I'm going to drop my next video here, but I kind of have to I need to get a little more ahead with my shooting schedule. I've been really bad with that. And if you have any further questions, hey, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes, and you're welcome to, ask stuff. Ask me anything, guys. I'm in a weird mood tonight. I went to Tractor Supply. I had fun there. I went to Winn-Dixie. My mom's birthday is this week, so we're going out with her a little later this week. So I really hope You know, hey, if this saves you money or helps you, at least, I hope at least now you can go into some of this other content just with your eyes open so that you kind of know, you kind of can look for red flags. You can say, hey, you know what? And also, if you're looking at reviews for products, look at many reviews and specifically look at reviews that are not only unsponsored, but where the reviewer paid for the item. So if they paid for the item and it's not sponsored, you know, I feel like those are my favorite reviews as a consumer. And the reason, again, I don't really do a lot of, you know, like you send me a free item and I'll do a video on it is because I personally just don't enjoy watching that content. I don't find it that valuable. And I don't really want to put out videos here or content that I don't think is high quality and that I don't feel good about. So again, it's not for everybody. I completely understand, but that's how I roll here, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I definitely appreciate your opinion. It saves me and many others from wasting money we don't need to spend. Thank you for that. They are the same company, I believe, but they outsourced the manufacturer as they got bigger. Don't all companies do that? Like it'll be a great product, and then the company kind of gets too big. They start cutting corners. They raise the price. The product's not as good as it once was. I mean, this is something that's happened to many, many different products that I used to like. So I hope, you know, I don't know if I would say this is fun, but hopefully this was interesting for you. And yeah, check out some of my other videos. I've definitely done some content before here with my thoughts on influencers and marketing and social media. You know, it is what it is. You just have to, I think it's just important to know going in, like what the real deal is. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I hope everyone has a great night. I will catch you again in the next video. And I'm Jen for the Sewing Report. Remember, whatever you're doing, make it fun.